Tonight on CFTK-TV News, the Seniors Corner in Terrace is leaving the Skeena Mall, the Prince Rupert RCMP are seeking a wanted man, and the BC government is backtracking on some social media-related legislation.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Good evening, I'm Cale Maslin. Here's what's making news in the Northwest and beyond. A beloved Terrace social group will likely soon be without a location as their lease is up and they have nowhere to go. CFTK-TV's Jaylene Matthews has more.
A dearly loved hangout in the Skeena Mall, the Seniors Corner has provided services, smiles, snacks, and items by donation to the region's seniors population for the past year and a half.
I'm here every day.
Just about.
Yeah, and this is bad weather outside, and he won't let me out.
We've basically created a bit of a thrift shop type of thing, so browsing is something that a lot of people just like to do. So browsing is huge when it comes to our seniors and their families, because their families come too, of all ages, including many grandchildren who love to shop here, because they can come with a nickel and leave with a whole armful of treasures. So, but we have medical supplies as well. We have, so all sorts of stuff that's been repurposed.
Due to its accessibility, location, and parking, the mall provides an ideal location.
The mall offers access, easy access, one-stop shopping for people who come in. People who come in often will come with their significant other. One may be able to shop, one may not. So they can leave one here to be with us to do whatever they want to do while they go about their business.
Unfortunately, their lease is coming to an end.
They have said to us that it looks like some of their long-term tenants might be looking to expand, and so they want us to head out so that in the event that they want to expand into this space, they can.
The Skeena Valley seniors came into the space as it was in need of renovations.
We gave them the plan, what we wanted to do, and which is, putting a kitchen and finishing this to look a little more respectable to our seniors and people that come here.
The group applied for grants to update the Seniors Corner with running water, a washroom, fixed walls, a new floor, and a kitchen.
We provided the mall with evidence of our grant application. So we were going to expand and create a kitchen within here. We were going to create a more usable space with regard to social interaction and helping with forms and all that type of thing.
As the grants were hinged on a secured lease contract, they now have also been denied. In appealing for a new lease, the Seniors Corner created a petition that got 700 signatures from 37 communities. This was presented with a floor plan to Bosa Properties, who were not compelled and denied the lease request.
And I'm extremely disappointed. I feel like it's an insult to seniors, not just the ones that come, but to seniors in general.
Place to go for help for seniors, and that's been really good for us. Every time, and they babysit for me too. I have to do the shopping because she can't go out. She stays here because she had a minor stroke a while back and they're still trying to figure it out.
In a statement from John Martin of Loon Properties Incorporated, which is the Skeena Mall, he says the company is dedicated to community-led initiatives, but that venue was considered temporary from the beginning. Seniors Corner will be closing at 4 p.m. Tuesday, April 30th. Until then, the seniors invite you to come in for a coffee and help clear out inventory. For CFTK-TV News in Terrace, I'm Jaylene Matthews.
Yesterday saw Rio Tinto hold a ceremony in Kitimat in order to mark the official groundbreaking of their project that will see them build a new alumina conveyor. This project was officially announced back in November of last year and will result in over $135 million being spent to replace the alumina conveyor inside of the Rio Tinto aluminum smelter in Kitimat in order to ensure the operation's commitment to efficiency and integrity. This is the most money that's been spent on Rio Tinto's aluminum operation in Kitimat since the current smelter was modernized about a decade ago. Present at the groundbreaking ceremony included the likes of Kitimat Mayor Phil Germuth, Rio Tinto Chairman Dominic Barton, Rio Tinto's project manager Ola Atacola, and multiple others in high-ranking positions at the company. Throughout the end of a week in the earlier part of May, the District of Kitimat will play host to what's known as the 2024 Minerals North Conference. This conference will be a 3-day-long event covering May 8th to 10th and has a long list of things taking place at it over that period of time. The main hub for the event is set to be the River Lodge Recreation Center in Kitimat and will include items like a lunch at the Hirsch Creek Golf Club and speeches from the likes of a Haisla Nation councillor, Seabridge Gold, Rio Tinto, in addition to LNG Canada. Coming up next, the day is set for when the Surrey Police Force will officially take over. Welcome back. An article that was released onto the Prince Rupert RCMP's website spoke of a man the police are trying to find since he is wanted on multiple unendorsed warrants. The wanted man in question is known by the name Stefan Lovell Holowaychuk, and the charges he is wanted for include the likes of identity fraud, assault with a weapon, in addition to obstructing a police officer. Holowaychuk's description is that of a 34-year-old Caucasian male measuring in at about 5'10", weighing around 177 pounds, while also having short blonde hair as well as blue eyes. Those with any idea or clue to his current whereabouts are being asked to call the Prince Rupert RCMP at 250-624-2136 or BC Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477 if you are seeking to remain anonymous. In another article put out on the Dawson Creek RCMP's website, those police spoke on how they both arrested and brought 11 criminal charges against Tanner Murray. Earlier in the month, police arrested Murray without any incident due to violations of his released order conditions that resulted from previous charges like possessing a firearm for a dangerous purpose, robbery, and flight from police. Officers also ended up searching his vehicle and found illegal items like a loaded firearm, as well as lots of ammunition and other support gear that is believed to be for committing crimes, among other things. Police have since applied to keep Murray in their custody, but it is expected that he will end up getting released back into the community, most likely with a future court date scheduled. We now have a date for when the Surrey Police Service will take over from the RCMP. The province is calling it a major milestone in the long drawn-out transition, but as CTV's Abigail Turner explains, this isn't necessarily the end of the policing saga in Surrey.
The date has been finalized.
The Surrey Police Service will become the police of jurisdiction for the City of Surrey on November 29th. 2024.
The work to fully transition away from the RCMP in Surrey will take more than 2 years to complete, and in that time, expect to still see Mounties patrolling the city.
The two police agencies will work together under a collaborative arrangement.
The city is required to maintain 834 officers.
We've been preparing for this date for over 3 years, and we continue to work diligently to ensure SPS is prepared to transition.
As new SPS officers are hired, RCMP positions are expected to be redeployed.
The members in Surrey and their morale, we have spoken with each of them. We met with them. We have explained to them that retention is our top priority. But as you've heard the minister speak, this transition period is still going to continue for some time.
And during that time, the cost falls on the Surrey taxpayer.
Why would we want to take away a federally funded program where our taxes don't involve it and get into something where our taxes are going to go
I think that the RCMP are doing a fine job, so, why add more stress to people that in this time to add more taxes to people?
Surrey finalized its city budget Monday night, which included $89 million for severance packages for SPS members.
Clearly we don't need that, so we need to be talking about what can we do with it. Can we pay down debt? Can we reduce taxes? Can we build infrastructure? But I think that's a discussion we need to be having very soon.
The province has offered to offset costs by providing $150 million. Surrey Mayor Brenda Locke did not respond to interview requests, instead saying in a statement, quote, "Aside from setting an aspirational date, nothing else has changed." Minister Farnworth's announcement today is simply another desperate attempt by the province to demonstrate some kind of progress on the issue mere days before the matter is heard in court. And that court date is set for Monday of next week, where the city of Surrey has filed a petition for a judicial review of the province's SPS mandate. But that doesn't appear to be stopping the government from going ahead with its plans. Abigail Turner, CTV News, Surrey.
Turning to tonight's weather, the north coast is only supposed to see a few clouds at a low of 6 degrees. The Terrace-Kitimat area should get a few showers plus a low of 3 degrees. And the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District will have a change of showers in addition to a low at -7 degrees. On the north coast, the upcoming week will deal with sun to start before it gets rainy, with the high shifting between 9 and 12 degrees. In the Terrace-Kitimat area, their next week or so will consist of sun and some clouds to begin before transitioning to all clouds and rain, with the high moving from 19 to 11 degrees. And in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, the week for them will also see sun at the beginning before then moving to rain, while their high goes from 17 to 11 degrees. Traffic was backed up along Highway 16 today as a logging truck overturned at the Terrace/Thornhill roundabout. The single vehicle incident occurred just before 8 a.m. this morning. The logging truck was traveling eastbound on Highway 16, going straight through the roundabout in the outside lane when the load rolled over and spilled onto the highway. Traffic was delayed into the afternoon. And now checking out the highways, visit Drive BC for the latest and up-to-date conditions, and as always, drive safe out there. On Highway 16, there is utility work, bridge maintenance, road sweeping, construction work, and a vehicle incident, plus the Usk ferry is out of service and the cable car is in effect. Highway 37 has some limited visibility while also having frost heaves. 37A has limited visibility too, and the Telegraph Creek Road has muddy sections and frost heaves. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cabs. Still to come, resistance against BC's decriminalization project appears to have faded. Welcome back. Pushback over BC's pilot that decriminalizes hard drugs appears to have fizzled. The opposition accused the Premier of hiding a secret report, but the NDP insists the answer is pretty mundane. Penny Daflos now on the ongoing effort to make political hay.
If you thought BC's legislature was a boring place,
Members, Mr. Speaker. Calm down.
Sure hasn't been lately. The opposition has been working hard to score political points in an election year.
A shocking second memo from Island Health.
Nurses are told to train patients on how to inject illicit drugs into their veins through IV lines.
Outrage over drug use in hospitals and in public places has dominated, and on Monday, a new allegation aimed at the Premier.
On his desk is a secret report from Dr. Calkins, who specializes in the nexus of drugs and crime, on how organized crime is taking advantage of the Premier's Safe Supply program. I'm not familiar with the report.
Neither was David Eby, who expressed mild frustration that the provincial health officer's research had snagged him in a minor controversy.
This is a paper that was commissioned by Dr. Henry in her role as the independent public health officer, and decisions about how and when she releases that information that she's been collecting are entirely up to Dr. Henry.
Jonathan Calkins is a professor and researcher of drug policy in Pittsburgh who calls destigmatizing drug use a mistake.
People we know who are dying at home alone.
In February, Dr. Bonnie Henry presented a report urging expansion of Safe Supply to curb toxic drug deaths. She's now working on another report with input from various researchers, including Calkins.
The impact of a safer supply on drugs, on markets, on illicit drug markets and other things. Those are the kinds of issues. What Dr. Henry is looking at is the issue of prescribed safe supply and what impact it has.
As decrim continues to be a political football, the Premier finds himself on the defensive.
I couldn't feel more urgent about this issue. We've got thousands of people dying. We have serious issues of disorder in a number of communities that need to be addressed.
Until the public starts seeing significant progress, EB's opponents will continue to take advantage. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
It was just a month ago that BC introduced legislation to crack down on social media companies to protect children from being exploited, but now the legislation is on hold. Rob Buffum reports on why the government is backtracking and how the opposition calls it a familiar pattern.
The province is hitting pause on recent laws aimed at protecting kids from online harms. It says instead, it's reached a commitment with social media giants including Meta and Snapchat to negotiate safeguards.
We're the only jurisdiction in North America and perhaps in the world that has captured the attention of social media companies in this way and has a prospect of reaching a cooperative agreement to protect kids.
The bill that's being put on hold was motivated by the tragic death of 12-year-old Carson Cleland, a Prince George boy who died by suicide after being contacted by an online predator. If passed, the legislation would allow the government to sue companies for harms caused by their products. Many businesses worried it was too broad, potentially capturing all kinds of goods and services, including energy drinks and processed food.
We're talking about any product, any byproduct, any service that could cause any kind of disease or illness or injury, or even the risk of it, could be subject and could be liable to this legislation.
The province says it already has a commitment from Facebook's parent company to amplify information during emergencies like wildfires, and is hopeful it can reach an agreement in addressing concerns over sextortion, mental health, and online bullying, without having to rely on legislation and lengthy lawsuits.
What I'll be looking for at this table is quick and immediate action to get to that better, safer online environment for British Columbian youth. If it doesn't, the legislation is just on pause.
If we can work with social media organizations, can probably enact quicker changes than having to go through the courts, which may or may not actually have any results.
The opposition, BC United, calls this sudden change of course a win.
I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed that this keeps happening. We keep pointing out the shortcomings in legislation they bring forward.
If a deal isn't reached with the social media companies, the government says it will look at resuscitating its legislation. Critics note, however, time is fleeting. There's less than a month before the legislative session ends.
And now we turn our attention to the stock markets. The Canadian dollar is down 2/10 of a cent. The price of gold is down $3.70. Oil is down 55 cents. Natural gas is down 16 cents. Aluminum is at $2,579. In Toronto, the TSX is down 138 points. The Venture Index is down 1.14. In New York, the Dow Jones is down 42.77, and Nasdaq is up 16.11. Still ahead, day 2 of a trial involving ex-President Donald Trump saw some heated exchanges. Welcome back. Day 2 of Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial began with a testimony from the former publisher of the National Enquirer, but as CTV's Joy Malbon explains, it came after the judge had had a heated exchange with the former president's lawyer.
Donald Trump sat stone-faced in a New York courtroom while his lawyer tried to defend his client's regular outbursts that the prosecution says violates his gag order. Trump has attacked Michael Cohen, a key witness and Trump's former lawyer, calling him a sleazebag and a liar. Just last night on a conservative radio show, Trump slammed the jury who will decide his fate.
That jury was picked so fast, 95% Democrats. The area is mostly all Democrats.
Back on the stand was David Pecker, former publisher of the National Enquirer. A longtime friend of Trump's, Pecker said he, Trump, and Cohen hatched a scheme at Trump Tower in 2015 after Trump announced his presidential run. Pecker said Trump used the tabloid to catch and kill negative stories about him and run hit jobs on his rivals like Hillary Clinton and Ted Cruz. I told him we're going to try to help the campaign, Pecker said, and to do that, I want to keep this as quiet as possible. Pecker said he was the eyes and ears of the Trump campaign, taking stories off the market that would hurt Trump, like when Playboy model Karen McDougal was shopping a story about an alleged affair with Trump. But it was when porn star Stormy Daniels threatened to go public about their alleged affair just weeks before the 2016 election. The prosecution says Trump's fixer Michael Cohen wired Daniels $130,000 and then hid the payment.
I did it at the direction of and for the benefit of Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump denies the affairs and has pleaded not guilty to 34 criminal charges of falsifying business records to cover up hush money payments and to influence the election. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
Killer whale experts are confident about a trapped orca calf survival chances in the ocean if a rescue team can remove it from a tidal lagoon on the northwest coast of Vancouver Island. Marine scientist Jared Towers said the female orca, estimated to be 2 years old, is exhibiting signs of resiliency in the month that she's been trapped. He confirms that the whale is eating supplied seal meat and was seen on the weekend catching its own herring, a sign of adaptability under rather difficult circumstances. A plan to catch the whale in a net and then transport it to the ocean was put on hold in order to allow the rescue team to consider some new options. That is all of our news for today. From all of us here at CFTK-TV News, I'm Cale Maslin, and thank you for watching. We will see you next time.